it's a public policy issue. The USDA, back in the 1900s, declared a health plate dairy as one of the basic food groups, and for quite a long time. Over time, it's developed, and gradually the amount of vegetables in our plate has grown. However, we still have this dairy here on the side. And what many people know is that the USDA is the US Department of Agriculture. The USDA itself was started with the dairy industry. So it's not a surprise that we have dairy as part of our recommendations. But a healthier option is the healthy eating plate, made by Harvard Medical School professors and their researchers. It says to limit milk and dairy for the general population to have less than 1 to 2 servings a day. We'll see from the research that it's even better to have no milk and dairy. The problem happens when we start initiating phases of prostate cancer and other cancers, even as early as our childhood. So, recent epidemiological evidence supports the view that a high intake of milk during puberty increased the risk of advanced prostate cancer, questioning the attitude of promoting school milk consumption during puberty and adolescence. So again, it's a public policy issue. So we see that diets that are high in plant estrogens are actually protective against breast cancer, and phytoestrogens are found in soy and orange juice and many other foods, many other vegetables, even carrots. So these are nutrients that are beneficial for decreasing our estrogen levels, and it's been found to be helpful against cancers. So why not accept that as a policy? We know that the role of phytoestrogens is important for protection against cancer, and that many other molecules and compounds, like from epigallocatechin, which is in a tea, and genistein from soy, and curcumin from turmeric, and resveratrol from grapes, and caffeine, coffee, and tea, all have been suggested to reduce the risk of prostate cancer through this mechanism, inhibiting the mTORC1 signaling. There are many other studies that show that the more plant compounds we have in our body, the better off we are. While the intake of dairy products and red meat has been associated with higher risk, we know that more cruciferous vegetables and other fruits and vegetables decrease our risk of prostate cancer. So let's talk more about our cardiovascular health. When we look at our arteries here, we see this yellow fatty material building up on our vessel wall. Now, this is largely from the saturated fat that build up in our arteries, and our LDL cholesterol is a sign of trying to reduce the amount of fatty acid buildup in our arteries. Narrowed artery because of fatty material deposited on our wall. Now, what are the implications of this smaller tube compared to a healthier artery, free of saturated fats and also trans fats? Well, instead of using medication to try to reduce fatty acid material, why not try to prevent it in the first place? So we know that the causes of coronary artery disease are largely due to IGF-1, the cholesterol, saturated fat, and trans fat that builds up in our arteries. IGF-1 largely stimulates atherosclerosis, so this buildup, by synthesizing more of the extracellular matrix. So a lot of this material here could also be the cells. And similarly, IGF-1 and the bovine leukemia virus from before could be linked to leukemias and lymphomas. So a lot of the blood cancers are largely affecting our children too. So just having too much IGF-1 could lead to a ton of childhood cancers. So we need to reduce this risk, obviously. So it's important to watch out for our next generation to reduce amounts of cancers around the world. Another thing, our liver naturally produces all of the IGF-1 and cholesterol our body needs from our dietary fatty acids and proteins. So if someone says, oh, well, we need saturated fats, not the case. Our liver naturally produces that. all we need. Here we see cholesterol even that our liver produces is found in our cellular membrane, and it's also important for our glycolipid. That lipid part is made from fatty acids, and all of these yellow chains are all fatty acids that can be formed from as unsaturated fatty acids, which means that they're more kinked. And the more kinked they are, the better. That means that they're not so rigid and sort of tight together. So that allows for sort of a flow between cells. It's important to have a sort of flow of proteins and nutrients to keep our system like an organism and not like a block of ice. Another important topic of discussion is cerebral health. So we have seen that there's a possible contribution of dairy products to Parkinson's disease and dementia, like Alzheimer's, especially from milk, in initiating neuropathogenesis, which is the generation of disease in our neurons and leading to cognitive failure and dementia, so like memory loss problems. So we see that diets emphasizing whole plant foods and olive oils are beneficial for cognitive function. So these olive oils, these unsaturated, monounsaturated oils are beneficial for our nerve health and for all of our liver needs to produce the fatty acids it needs. All of our cells require an insulation from the fatty acids, the healthier ones, in order for cognitive function to occur. However, there's been some research that shows that vitamin B12 deficiency may be linked to dementia or memory loss in older age. So when we look at this graph, we see that there's actually a lot more dementia in Asian countries, and that may be due because they have less vitamin B12 in their as supplemented in their diet. Some other causes of dementia include depression, medication side effects, excess use of alcohol, thyroid problems, and other vitamin deficiencies, including vitamin D.